Do you like to go barefoot? I know. Strange question for a grief podcast. But if you've been around a while, you know that there's always a reason why I am asking you a question. I love being barefoot because it reminds me of walking in the surf at the beach, and that is one of my most favorite things to do. Listening to the waves in the early morning hours, walking with the sand between my toes, smelling the sea air with each deep breath I take into my lungs, feeling the morning breeze brush across my face, and watching the sunrise as the coolness of the water gently washes over my feet. Now that is my favorite time to be barefoot. But what about when I walk back to the boardwalk without sandals? What happens then? Yeah, you know, hot, hot, hot. And if you're not careful, if you're not wearing the right shoes, you might get burned. So what does shoes and being barefoot have to do with today's episode? I pray you stick around to find out. I'll give you a hint. Shoes are what we put on our feet to take us places. But the right shoes are very important, and that's where we're going to spend some time today. How to prepare your feet with the right shoes. And I'm not talking about the physical kind. Are you lost in the chaos of grief, struggling to find your way in the darkness? Are you asking yourself, will I ever be able to enjoy life again? Are you wondering where God is right now? Welcome to the Grief Mentor Show. This podcast is a safe place for you. It will shine a light into the shadows, helping you discover that joy and pain can coexist, that you still have purpose, and there is a path to peace. Hello, friend. I'm Teresa Davis. I, too, was lost in the chaos of grief the day my son died. Just like you, I longed for peace in this unfamiliar world. I longed for the weight crushing my chest to be lifted so I could breathe. I clung tightly to the anchor, and it was there that I discovered the tools I needed to navigate life after loss. And I'm ready to help you do the same. If you're ready, I'm holding my hand out to you, friend. Let me show you the way, one step at a time. The distraction of the holidays are over. As the reality of the new year sets in, so does the fact that life without your child is moving into another year. I want to help you understand your loss by processing your grief with the tools you need to be successful. The truth is, you can't change the past, but you can change the quality with which you live your life going forward. Have you considered what it would be like if you allowed someone that has walked through the fire of child loss to help you find a way to process what's on your mind and heart? The truth is, there's nothing that will take away the pain. But learning to live in the tension of child loss is possible. Is it easy? No. But with the right tools and mindset, it is possible. I'm ready when you are. Visit the griefmentor.com Work With Me page and book your call today. Shoes are the last thing we put on before we walk out the door. Most of us have more than one type of shoe. We have work shoes, walking shoes. Maybe you have running shoes. There's water shoes and fancy shoes and comfortable shoes, and on and on. We wear the type of shoes that we need for the task of the day. Well, what does that have to do with grief? Well, our feet is what God gave us to take us where we want to go. And the type of shoes we wear prepares us for the journey. My question then is, where do you want to go in your grief journey? And how have you prepared your feet to take you there? When you are thrust into grief that comes with the death of your child, you're in a spiritual battle for survival. But many of us are taken down so hard that we don't even realize it. And friend, that makes you a sitting duck for the enemy. I'm going to equip you with the knowledge to be prepared to fight the battle today. The Bible is full of visuals, and I love this so much because God understands our humanness just like we understand how a child learns. So does our Father understand what we need to learn. When Paul gives us the description of what we need to fight the battle, he clearly tells us that we are not fighting against flesh and blood, but rulers, authorities, and powers of this dark world and spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. One of the pieces of armor is how to prepare your feet, and that is where we're going to land today. But to read about all the pieces of armor, go to Ephesians chapter 6. And if it all seems a bit overwhelming, I'll link a document that I wrote in the show notes that explains each piece of the armor and how to use it. In Ephesians chapter 6, one of the last pieces of the armor that Paul gives us is for our feet. Prepare your feet with the preparation of the gospel. Now, should the preparation be any different when we're grieving? The Bible doesn't separate out seasons of life or life events and give us different instructions on how to be successful while we still have this earth suit. Stick with me for a moment. Why did I just use the term earth suit? Did you know that you and I and our children were formed in the depths of the earth, in a place that the Bible calls the secret place? It tells us in Psalms 139, "My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All my days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." How did I know that? Because I've prepared myself with the gospel of peace. When we die, we lose this earthly body, and God retains our spirit until the day he returns and gives us a new body. If you're thinking, what form are our children in right now? My best and only answer is spirit form, as the Bible suggests. Now, does that mean they roam the earth watching what we do every day? My personal belief to that is no. I do not believe that they have the ability to go back and forth from the physical world and the spiritual world. I believe the only beings that can do that have never been human. Why do I believe that? Number one, because we are created as human beings in the likeness of God, but we are not God. Number two, because our children are in the presence of God, verified by Scripture, and to leave his presence would bring sadness, and we know that there is no sadness in heaven. Number three, now with that said, I believe there is a gray area that Randy Alcorn dips into in his book called Heaven. It recites scripture from the book of Revelation that the saints were witnessing what was happening on earth. Was it literal? I don't know. But what I've come to believe through my study of the Word, and take note, I'm not a theologian, but I personally believe God can do anything he wants anytime he wants. So if he allows our loved ones to have glimpses of what's going on the earth, then he does. Now, we started out talking about shoes today, and my question to you right now is, are you wearing the right shoes? When Paul is teaching us how to be prepared for spiritual warfare, he tells us to prepare our feet with the preparation of the gospel. Why did he use the visual of feet? Well, it's because I believe our feet carry us to where we want to go. In the book of Ephesians chapter 6, Paul tells us to stand firm with our feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. Not just any gospel, friend, but the gospel of peace. Why does it matter what kinds of shoes you are wearing? Because the right shoes bring peace. You can't fight and go where you want to go in your grief journey without the right shoes. Do you have peace in your grief journey? If the answer to that is no, then I urge you to evaluate what type of shoes you're wearing. And if they're not moving you in the direction you want to go, then it's time to consider getting a new pair of shoes that will equip you with the preparation of the gospel of peace. I'll leave you with God's words today. Psalms 119:105 says, "Your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. Do you need some help with your path? Is your feet taking you to a place of peace? I can help you find the right pair of shoes that'll bring some clarity. Will we have all the answers about the why this side of heaven? No, we won't. But with the right shoes, I can help you walk the path that God has created for you to be able to navigate these deep waters of grief. Distraction, confusion, feelings of being overwhelmed and lost are part of everyone's grief journey. But you don't have to stay in that place. I'll give you the tools you need to set an anchor that will put your feet on solid ground. Visit the griefmentor.com Work With Me page and schedule your call today. And that's all I have for you today, guys. So until next time, take care. Are you a Grief Mentor Insider? I have a free grief survival guide on my website and a song list that I have created along the way in my grief journey. I would love to share that with you. Visit thegriefmentor.com's website and join today. Did today's episode touch your heart? I pray that it did. Did you walk away a little lighter? If you did, would you share this episode with someone that you know needs to hear it? And could you take 30 seconds to leave me a review on Apple Podcast? I would so appreciate it if you did. From my heart to yours, see you next week.